And welcome to another edition of South Texas Crossfire. This is Attorney Joe Flores reminding you to join us each and every week right here on KTMV with the Lopez family. Special thanks to Carlos Lopez. If you want to advertise as a small business or run a campaign on there, call 904-1762. That's 904-1762. And special thanks to our sponsors, River City Hospice and Vasquez Flores Home Health. With me, I have one of the senior judges here in Nueces County, and that is Nanette Hasette. And then when you see her, you're going to say, senior? She looks pretty young, but welcome. How are you, Judge?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Well, Judge, you've been on the 28th District Court since 1997. ¿Cómo pasan los años, verdad?
Sí.
And very briefly, tell the people what you do day-to-day basis. But before even that, your background, education, training, where you grew up, mom and dad, all that.
Sure, I was born here in Corpus Christi. I'm a native Corpus Christian. My mom and dad, my mom is from Spain, but my dad was in the Air Force, and that's where they met. But my dad has been born and raised here in Texas. In fact, from San Diego, Texas.
All right. Vaqueros.
Yes. I went to public schools, Roy Miller High School, Driscoll, Oak Park, even Austin Elementary. I'm a local girl. I went to Del Mar College, University of Texas at El Paso, received a Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice. I went to South Texas College of Law.
My alma mater.
And received my law degree there, and I became a lawyer in 1988. And I've been in practice. I practiced law. I started as a prosecutor with the county attorney's office and did domestic violence cases, criminal misdemeanor, juvenile prosecution, and some civil litigation concerning the CPS cases, the children with that were abused or neglected cases. And then I went on my own, and then I decided to run for office, and I've been your judge for the last 16 years, and I'm very proud of that.
Well, and look, I mean, the bottom line is you're a very young woman still. We can, muchas millas todavía on the odometer. So, si Dios quiere.
Si Dios quiere.
I mean, you could be up there 20 more years if you'd like to serve. And why do you like being a judge? I mean, a lot of people say, I can't deal. You deal with from death penalty cases to DWI to domestic violence. How can you handle that day in, day out?
Well, when I first started my legal career, it all started in public service. And so I want to give back to my community, the community I love and grew up in. And this is my way of giving back. Being a judge is very difficult. It's also a privilege because you're there to serve.
Right.
And that is my main duty, is to serve the citizens of Nueces County. So although I do all the hard cases and it's really funny, every time I go and talk to the jurors, I say, it's hard to make decisions, and they all agree with me. And I tell them that I do them every day. And it's just something that's inside me, and I believe that I'm doing a great job and would ask voters to keep me as judge of the 28th District Court.
Well, and let's talk, as the images are coming up there, we're talking about, you talked about your education, now the judicial experience, 24 years, right, as practicing law, 16 as a district judge. And then, we talked about that, but you're also part of the National Judicial College.
Yeah, I would.
So you go and you get continuing education.
Yes.
I mean, when you sit up there, you've got to know the law. And that also talks about tort reform and stuff. Now, there are conservatives, right? The ultra-conservatives, the Tea Party people, they ask hard questions. They want somebody up there who's going to dispense tough justice, that's going to not let lawsuit abuse and all that. So they expect to ask judges, how are you going to rule? How do you answer that when people say, well, dales la quebrada, give us a break, or, be for the little guy. Then somebody else says, no, be for big business. Then another one, don't let lawsuit abuse control your docket. Don't legislate from the bench. How do you respond to those people from all different parts of the community?
The way I look at my job is that I apply the law, and whatever the facts come and whatever the law tells me to do is what I'm going to do. It's not that I'm going to send everybody to jail, because the law does not require that I send everybody to jail. It doesn't require that I do every lawsuit, because there's reasons or methods in order to resolve lawsuits. But it's just what the facts are brought to the court, and then the court makes a decision based on the law.
Well, and look, we got a few minutes left. I know you're very busy on your docket. This is during your lunch hour. I appreciate you coming and speaking with us. But let's talk about your community involvement. A lot of the judges say, man, I've got enough, 12 hours a day, and then take home opinions and read them and prepare for the next morning. It's a 14-hour job. I got to raise kids, all that. But what's the Puente program over there at Del Mar that you're helping with?
That was many years ago when there's some students there that needed some encouragement to continue their education and helping them in their career choices. And I did that many years ago.
And then Education is Our Freedom. You're still involved with Commissioner Joey Gonzalez?
I am. I think his program is well worth everyone being involved with.
And what about victims' rights? You received an award about that. And in fact, you were recognized, and you've also been endorsed by the Corpus Christi Police Department,
Yes.
who this time around did really conservative endorsements for Republicans, ultra-conservative, I would say. And I think a lot of that, you were one of the few judges that got that endorsement.
Yes.
And why did you get that support, in your opinion, from the police officers?
Most of those police officers have seen me in court. They've come and testified, and I listen to what they have to say and make my rulings accordingly. And when they're there, I try to be considerate of their time and what they do out there, and I always am nice to them. Maybe that's why, and maybe because I do what the law says. When I need to be tough, I will be tough.
Right.
When I don't need to be, I don't need to be. But they've seen my work. They've seen me there for 16 years, and I'm very proud to have their endorsement.
Well, and I've appeared in front of you, and I'll tell it straight. You no tengo pelos en la lengua. You know that. And I've been in front of you before, and I've had first-time drug offenders that I've seen you work miracles with, where you even given somebody a second chance if they relapse, because the war on drugs, how can you war on your own family, brothers, sisters, mother, father? They have to need treatment first, and then if they still don't listen,
Right.
al bote,
That's right. The law requires progressive sanctions. So it may not be the first time that you're going to be sent to jail when you revoke your probation, but there's ways to prevent everybody from going to jail, because there are programs that help with addiction and other revenues.
Right. And well, the other thing that I wanted to underline is that when you used to, back in the day, it's 1996, you're out there with your husband campaigning, knocking on doors. You can't do that anymore when you run, because the taxpayers, they're paying you to be on that bench.
Exactly.
You can't be out there 9 to 5
Right.
like others maybe that are running against you, already nameless, but that are knocking on doors, right?
Right.
So I want to give this opportunity for you to knock on 200,000 doors right now. And look at the camera, look at me, whatever you want to do. And then they'd say, hey, my name is Nanette Hasette.
My name is Nanette Hasette. I'm
it.
running for the 20th District Court. I'm asking for your vote again. I've been on the bench for 16 years. Look at my record. Talk to the people that have come before me. And you will see that your vote will not be wasted with voting for Judge Nanette Hasette.
And if somebody tells you, well, what difference does it make what judge is up there, or I vote for a judge? I mean, it's all the same thing. I mean, what?
I think experience counts. 16 years of judicial experience counts a great deal.
Right. And the other issue that people say is that they forget that if you have a different political leanings, if you get somebody up there with an agenda or backed by people with an agenda, people are going to get hurt, right? So, I mean, if people try to influence how you dictate on the bench, it's very hard. When you've been on the bench for a long time, if some special interest groups come and say, no, we want you to rule this way, rule that way, how would you respond to them?
I just would say that, I follow the law, and what I will do what the law tells me. Bring me the facts, and the facts go with the law, then I will go with the law.
It's been a pleasure to have you on. 28th District Court Judge has been serving you for a decade and a half, and that's Nanette Hasette, the Honorable Nanette Hasette, 28th District Court. And I want to thank her court staff, too, for all the hard work that they do there to be acknowledged, and her family and all the support they have in your husband, a great friend of mine. And I also want people out there to please register to vote. Your vote counts. She needs your vote. All the people this election cycle need your vote, and it does matter. Believe me, I've been out there in the trenches, and when I appear in front of a judge, it does matter what kind of judge you have up there. The character, the experience, the training, the knowledge, it makes life and death literally decisions on your behalf if you appear in front of a judge that has that judicial temperament. So Nanette Hasette, 28th District Court, please get out there and vote. Attorney Joe Flores, we're going to be right back with our Commissioner Joey Gonzalez 24/7.
Call River City Hospice for your loved one's care today. River City Hospice is a compassionate, patient-centered healthcare provider with a unique approach to medical care and support for people at the end of life and their families. River City Hospice focuses on maintaining dignity, increasing quality of life, and providing comfort and reducing pain due to illness. Hospice care allows your loved one to be treated with dignity and respect and gives them the right to choose. Call 882-5900 today. Hope, dignity, and love. It's got to be River City Hospice.
And we're back after a brief break. You were watching Nanette Hasette, your 28th District Court judge, been up there for a very long time. Speaking of judges, and now a commissioner 24/7, your commissioner, your voice, your vote. This November, you need to get out there and vote and register to vote on all these important elections. And Commissioner Joey Gonzalez is going to talk about that and the state of the county. How are you, Commissioner?
Doing good, Joe. Thank you very much. You know, Joe, as I was watching tremendous people, Judge Nanette Hasette, the future Judge Nora Longoria, or 13th Court of Appeal. Wow, what talent, man! You know, we need to make sure we keep.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
Nanette Hasette where she's at. Got to make sure we bring in Longoria, because I tell you what, with that kind of professionalism, that kind of experience, you know, we can't go wrong. You know, and not only that, but they're. What I got from them, Joe, is a passion that they have for community, for getting involved in the community. Although they're judges, you know, they get involved. They find time to get involved with the youth and the seniors, and you know, in the colleges. So that's what kind of people we need in office. You know, somebody doesn't go in office and know, you know what, I'm through for the next 4 years. You know, you'll see me again in 4 years. So we need those kind of people in office that's going to be passionate, you know, that's going to have time for the community and still reach out and help the youth, you know, to get an education. Barbara Canales, awesome, man. I mean,
never stops working.
Never stopped. Hear what the program she had.
She's the female 24/7.
Hey, she's the next county judge, as far as I'm concerned.
She should run for county judge.
I told her, so she let her, hey, consider it. Look, you know, let me know. Let's talk about it later. And you know, the program she has for the cancer for the kids, you know.
I would fight like a lion for her to run for county judge.
And I find like a bear. So, you know, between the
lion,
and
bear, you know, tigers.
Yeah. So I think Barbara is good. I think that she brings a lot of things to the table. I mean, and you know, de votar, que tenemos que votar, tenemos que apoyar a la gente, tenemos que hacer lo que está bien. You know, what really Barbara talked about, and I just want to piggyback on that, education, immigration, healthcare, and the right to vote. Joe, this is the things que we have to do. Tenemos que salir a votar, porque si no lo van a quitar la educación, lo van a quitar, van a mandar todos para atrás para México, van a quitar los beneficios. You know, and until we do this, Joe, we go out there and vote, we're going to be able to change these things. You know, it's not about, you know, and I always say Republicans and Democrats. I run on the Democrat Party. But when I am elected, Joe, I'm here to serve everybody, Republicans, Democrat, individuals. And those three things that I talked about, education, immigration, and health, don't only affect Democrats. It only affects the Hispanics. It affects all other nationalities, Republicans, Cubans, you know, Puerto Ricans. They all fall in the same boat. So it's not about, well, I'm not going to vote for that because I'm a Republican. But what if you have family that's affected by that? You know, I mean, you have to understand. You got kids in school, you got kids in college, and it affects you when the salaries, when the tuitions go up, or they reduce the teacher ratio, and now who's going to teach your kids? So it doesn't affect just Democrats, you know, and the Hispanics. It affects everybody. So that's why I always say, when I'm elected, and I'm the people's choice, because I serve everybody with fair and dignity, you know, and that's what I want them to understand. That.
Well, we got a couple of minutes left. Tell us the roundup of the community. We got 2 minutes left. Just tell us what's going on.
Well, you know, Joe, today we had a hearing today on budget hearings that the county would kind of fireballs thrown at each other here. But, you know, I was very adamant that we need to consider a 3% cost of living for across the board.
They haven't gotten raises in years.
Well, the last cost of living we got was in 2008. you know, and I know they get raises every 3 years. They're entitled to a raise of a 2% every 3 years, you know, but the cost of living has been since 2008. So while the judge and recommending the 2%, you know, I'm recommending the 3%, and he says we don't have the money. I said, well, you know, I would consider 2.5%, but I'm not going to go lower than 2.5%. I think that when we do all these reclassifications, when we do the upper level, the classified people, the attorney, they all deserve a raise. They all deserve to be reclassified. But when we do that, Joe, the bottom echelon, they do all the work. The workers, you know, the pushers and the shovers and the working on the streets and, you know, public work, you know, we don't bring them up. And they want to retire also, Joe. You know, they want to retire.
Well, and you brought up a good point. You know, they deserve a cost of living just like everybody else. And I know you're watching out for the benefits of the county. You know, the benefit of the voter and the worker. And so once again, Joey Gonzalez, you're telling everybody to get out to vote. And why should they vote?
Because I tell you what, if you don't vote, you can't complain. You know, you vote. You want to change the way things are done in America, you have to vote.
Well, Joey Gonzalez, 24/7, your vote, your voice. If they want to get a hold of you, what's the number?
Commissioner Jack, 24/7. It'll be 888-0296.
0296, that's 888-0296. It's always a pleasure to have you on, Commissioner. And you can Facebook him and go on there, Joey Gonzalez, Commissioner, and he's got a great website. He puts up his newsletter that he puts out himself. No one pays him to do that. And he's out there in the streets helping you out. A commissioner that you have full time. Don't forget that. Thank you again for always coming
Thank
out.
you,
I appreciate everything you do. And education is our freedom. Or learn more about that because he has co-founded that, and I am a big supporter. We're out of time. Davis pulled the plug. He's already taken us out. You know, he's setting the station on fire. That's it. I mean, we're done. So Joe Flores saying goodbye. Adios, Judge Joe A. Gonzalez, and he's now Commissioner Joey Gonzalez. So JAG 24/7. Thank you all, and God bless.